What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Market closed roughly about 30 minutes ago. I want to give you an overview of some of the data points, what caused it to go up today, and what shorts did. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did close 2.45% in the green, $8.10 a high. So that'll make a little bit more sense once I go over the technicals, and then $7.82 the low. When I even did my pre-market video, I said that everything is pointing for SoFi to really trend higher. But a little bit more of a caveat, we already do know that SoFi is heavily manipulated. Very strong wall at that $8 strike price associated to options. So we knew one way or another that it was going to get dragged down. I don't think shorts were going to let it happen. And this is why you did have shorts increasing today, 2.18 million shares. And that was largely during the second half of the day. So right here. So like I said, I think the writing's on the wall. If you're new to SoFi, get used to a lot of manipulation, especially if there's a lot of options. So I'm going to go over all that in a second. But there was some fairly good data today. So PCE did come in lower than anticipated, both on a year-over-year and also month-over-month basis. And so that is kind of proving that there is going to be now a 50 basis point cut, possibly for the November, because yeah, it seems to change every single day. Yesterday, we did have a very good, strong data points. So of course that does invalidate somewhat a justified rate cut, but with inflation going down based on PCE, that once again kind of puts it back on the table. Honestly, it's kind of flip-flopping all the time, but right now a 54.7% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut. Nothing associated to SoFi, so no SEC filings, nothing along those lines that I'm aware of. So we'll just have to wait and see if there is some Form 4s or 144s that do come out in the next hour or so. And like I said, technically come Monday, that's going to be the last actual day in Q3. So you will see a lot more activity associated to entities rebalancing portfolios, and any insiders, if they do want to buy, wink, wink, Anthony Noto, then that would be the last day to do it before the blackout period associated to their actual earnings. But today, like I said, shorts did increase 2.18 million shares, breaking the trend of kind of returning, but 17.76% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 185.76 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost of borrow average is 0.57, and then short score is 70.07. So again, I can't be that surprised the fact that they finally awoke on a Friday when there was, going over to the options, 38,000 at in the open interest at the $8 strike price. So I think a lot of this was just the writing on the wall. So based on this, it does show 8,000 at that 750 is going to be in the money, and regrettably everything above that is going to be kind of expire worthless. Looking forward into next week, kind of timid. So again, that might be a good A-OK for SoFi to kind of run up. So stay tuned for my video over this weekend on some expectations and everything else that you can kind of assume is going to happen. But today, 3.3 million in puts, 6.27 million in calls. 50% of all the options being done today were optimistic and bullish. Majority were when it was starting to really run up pretty significantly before shorts kind of got involved, which is unfortunate, but again, it is what it is. When it comes to SoFi though, kind of low volume, so 33.1 million shares being traded, 41.9 is the average. So you didn't really see that much in institutions buying or selling. So these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. There was a couple of big ones, 6.91 million, 1.23 million, but still not all that great. It's about 50-50, somewhat evenly divided between buying and selling. So it's just simply the algos, and you can kind of tell that based on a lot of the barcoding that happening throughout the day. That is a very key resembling sign of algorithmic trading. So algos are all over SoFi, and not just SoFi, but the broader market. So this is why I always do like to bring up exactly where volume does come from, because yeah, it's kind of important, because essentially we've seen in the past, once the sentiment, broader market sentiment does turn bearish, then someone easily flicks a switch and algos cause a lot of stocks to go down. So this is why very important to see what big money is truly doing, because they are kind of the backbone of every stock. They add good support levels, resistance, and everything like that. So speaking of support and resistance points, with it closing at $7.95, it did kind of trade between this S1 and the pivot. So it didn't really come close to that 772. Last 2 days, it did bounce off of that. So generally good stuff for that. And then 807 is going to be that next strong resistance / target that you want to kind of watch for going into the next couple trading days. So come next week. But it did actually bounce off of that general area. So we know that is somewhat strong kind of resistance. But aside from that, going into next week, again, going back over to the options, it's a good opportunity for SoFi to really kind of, if they come out hitting hard, to really go up higher. So something to just be aware of that. So if it does get over that 807, then 841, 862. There was a couple articles that did come out that is talking on SoFi's growth. And I think a lot of people are starting to really look at SoFi and question, why is it lagging? Because someone, let's say they know nothing of SoFi. They see the year over year, the huge growth that they've been having almost every quarter for the last year and a half. But why is the stock lagging? That is why everyone, like, instant red flag to a lot of new investors. So I think a lot of articles are starting to come out and breaking that down. So hopefully that might reassure and cause new investors to really get in, pushing it higher. Again, we'll kind of just have to wait and see. But on the actual chart itself, let's kind of go over this. It did bounce off of that central boiling band over the last couple of trading days. So of course, that's kind of a good thing. Consolidation might be over momentarily. Stochastic, you do see no defined trend right now, but it is at 59. So somewhat neutral, not considered overbought nor oversold. So all that consolidation did a fairly good job of kind of resetting the technicals somewhat. And number of retail investors have been buying. So if you are part of that group, if you've been buying, if you've been selling, what have you been doing with SoFi? Like I said yesterday, I did sell some $8 calls. And when it did run up today at its peak, I did sell some more $8 calls, because I anticipated, like I even said already in my pre-market video, I anticipated for it to close at $7.99, closed a little bit lower than I did anticipate, but I think we all knew that there was going to be that pullback. So pretty easy money. I think I got around $80, $90, something like that. Nothing really crazy, but still, money is money. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. What is your thoughts, for instance, on shorts increasing 2.18 million shares? Do you think that it's just a one-off just for suppression purposes, or do you think it's going to continue into next week? What's your guys' thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Hopefully everyone has a good weekend planned ahead. And with all that, appreciate all of you guys watching.